What is going on, everybody? How is it going? Welcome to The Secret History, living inside your aquarium. Yes, I know it's a little shaky. Hold on, let me shake. Turn this into a root beer float instead of a live stream shake. How is everybody doing? What's going on? So, today, I'm in a real funky mood. Basically, let me just say hello. Hello, Christy. Yeah, I don't know. This wasn't a planned live stream. I just thought, let's do a live stream tonight, all right? Sharon Gardner, who created the drawings and the thumbnail? Oh, that's me. Also, that's what we're going to be talking about a little bit. Yeah, live stream. Goose, not Maverick. Betsy, hey all. Peter, what's up, my man? UG Aquatics, what is going on? I know. I went live at the same time as LRB. Maybe y'all can hop back and forth. I don't know. This was when the time worked for me. My wife is out with friends, and I had kind of a crazy day, and so yeah, I don't know. I just decided I'd hop on here. If you guys want to check out Lucas, like, no harm, no foul. His channel's better than mine, anyways. So, uh, yeah, he's got like 300 tanks. But I wanted to talk a little bit about merchandise. Merchandise, not in the sense that like I'm gonna make money off of it. I mean, I think most of the little plans I've looked at in the past, I've sold shirts, I've done illustrations, that kind of stuff, and yeah, I can make a little bit of money. I could order 50 shirts with some design on it that I illustrated or did, but then like I have to hold on to like 10 XLs and the one extra small that no one ever buys and the medium no whatever. It's a lot of backstock and issues. So basically, I think the best way to go forth on it is to do like a Teespring type thing, like print on demand. And yeah, like I think it's something like a buck 20. Like I'll get a buck 20 from each one. So this really isn't about like making money. It's just about I like to make art. I like to give my art away anyways. So hopefully like they don't mark it up a ton, and then we can just kind of get some cheap shirts out. I don't really care to advertise the channel. Maybe we'll just make cool art, and if someone asks about your shirt, you can mention the channel, something like that. But yeah, so that is what's going on. I guess the heat is killing everybody. So yeah. I don't have a member thing for my channel yet because my channel's not big enough. I don't, I'm not good enough yet. So, well, let me stop yammering, especially for those of you who will watch this later and you're like, Alex, shut up. Just show us fish or shrimp or something. Like, do something. Dance, clown. So let me just show you some of the stuff I'm working on. I'm actually working on some private illustrations for some people. And ironically, I know I hijacked the same time slot as Lucas Brett's, but I do all of Lucas Brett's artwork. Like I've done a bunch of his art, so and graphics and stuff. So, and I hope to do more for him because he'll hook me up with shrimp, and shrimp don't pay the bills. Well, sometimes they do, but they're great to have his shrimp, and I love chatting with him. He's a nice guy. Okay, all right, let's flip this around. Let's not make this a me issue. Let's make this an us issue. Let's flip this around. Okay, guys. So here's the deal. A while back, I started illustrating these clockwork critters and a version that's not clockwork. So these are all Sumi. Ooh, sorry. Let's see here. I don't know what happened there. But yes. So like we got the Henri Beta and uh the version that is a clockwork, like, not even steampunk, like earlier than steampunk, like 17th century. um how is everybody doing? Aquaballs, hello. And then we got the same kind of deal, like a wind up, maybe like World War One era, like tank shrimp, like I don't know, 1850s maybe instead of World War One. But same deal, shrimp here. We got a buried Neocaridina and then a wind up version with pistons. And I try to make the gears look like they would all work and all fit together. Steve's Aquatics, what's going on, everybody? Check out Steve's channel, by the way. But yeah, and then I've got art where we've got pseudomcgills that are doing their thing, they're sparring, and so this is just kind of my style of artwork. The Sumi ink line, coming as a tattoo artist for a decade. Another lion's head goldfish or ranchu maybe, whatever. Yeah, if I drop out, it's because it's Friday, it's hot, everyone's using the internet to blast their tunes in the neighborhood and yada yada. But what I want to know from you, and I know you can answer it like if you're live, you can throw out your opinion. But if you want to answer in the comments later, like what fish do you dig? Would you like to see? Do you like this gear of artwork, like where I did like yeah, I am thinking of tattooing some of these on myself. Like I've tattooed myself. Let's see here if I can do this on camera. I've tattooed myself quite a bit over the years, but it's always hard to tattoo upside down and at a funky angle. Um, but yeah, you can see the stuff on Lucas Brett's site for a different. Oh yeah, African leaf fish. That'd be cool. This is more my traditional style of just doing like kind of surreal line work, but that would be like a zebra fish. Here we've got like a an exclamation point rasbora, and then like the wind up version. Um, uh, uh, Here, I don't know. I was thinking about doing a whole crazy, distracting, swirly background or whatever, but I don't know. So I just thought I'd show you guys some of the ones that I have handy. I've got more than this over the years. I've done a few versions of the shrimp too, for other people and stuff. Uh, but yeah, oh, an apisto knife fish. Yeah, a knife fish would be really cool. You'd definitely be able to tell that one. Right now, I think the detail level on this one I like. You can see there's still some pencil marks and stuff. But there's something about the like wind up, like because we keep them as our like amusement, but they're still this wild animal. There's something I like about it. Like if we did, something along the lines of what, yeah, petricola catfish. That is totally a great idea. Yeah, the Oranda, I mean, looks like such a mystical, looks like it has a mountain on its head or something, and ick or something. But oh, a clockwork anglerfish. So I thought I'd show you guys that stuff. Let me show you a couple other styles of art I do. But really what I'm looking for is feedback, because I don't know, maybe I'll do some t-shirts. I made myself a t-shirt. This is seriously just Sharpie on a white t-shirt that I use when I'm changing water on the house. It's got stains on it. But, that's an arowana, obviously. Just that kind of thing. No Kaith Daniels. Yeah, we won't be doing those. Probably. Actually, I love Daniels. So, angelfish. Yeah, that's a great one. But I'm just curious, like, what people want. I think the shrimp is gonna be popular. I mean, what I do for money, for living, I guess. I mean, you've seen probably in the background the animals. I like endangered animals. And yeah, Aquaballs, get in touch with me. I'd be happy to make you a logo. I do graphic design for a living, but I also do street fairs and art festivals, and I had a gallery for a number of years, and I just when the lightning strike happened, I actually got out of the gallery. But here's like on my honeymoon, my wife and I were on a boat and we were watching the seals play as the tide went out on the San Juan Islands. So I mean, let me try to show you some other styles. When I was in Rome, I've traveled a bit, and when I was in Rome, that's the Commons, the Temple of Saturn that's fallen apart. But this is out in North Dakota. You know, just I know this isn't all fish related, but y'all know me. These here are a little different. These are mushroom spores. So I take a stencil, I cut it out, and I totally do this. I would totally do this with fish too, but it doesn't make as much sense. I may do the Japanese style fish art if you guys have seen that, where you put paint on the side of a fish and you use it as a print block. But what this is actually me cutting out a small stencil, and then I go out and harvest the right kind of mushrooms, and that's the color of their spore. And then the spores are actually on there, and I actually use carrageenan from seaweed that I extract. I collect the seaweed too, and I have like a recipe I worked on for a decade basically, so that all my spores stick to the paper and become infused and don't smudge. Same with this here. So yeah, I do. I call that mushroom art because it's made with spores. Um, yeah, I would definitely do plants too. Yeah, it's bad for me. Yeah, it is bad for me. Carrageenan is Neenan carrageenan can be bad, but it's for like it's on paper, so yeah. But mushrooms, I have a whole book. Let's see here. Is it in my mushroom and rock? No, it's not over there. But I have a whole book that I published of illustrations. I've done a lot of scientific illustrations also. This is Zombie Walk, is what I called this one. It's Wicket with a Wicket case of Ricket. If an Ewok had rotted away, I did like a whole zombie thing. This is an osprey skull in Seahawks colors, being that I am from Seattle. Um, you know, but then I also have this kind of stuff. Hold on. That can be translated into shirts, but I'm not sure if Teespring would be able to do it. But like these are all wood. I would love to forage in Colorado. I got lots of friends in Colorado, and I love foraging there. Wild ginger. Yeah, so these are like block prints carved into wood. I've got the blocks outside, but I mean, you kind of get the idea. I do that too. So, but yeah, I mean, radishes. After the lightning, I felt less talented. I really did. I had more ideas for stuff, but my this is all from before the lightning strike. Not all of it, most of it. A few of these things, like this, I illustrated while sitting at dinner, just like goofing around, and that spurred on some other stuff. But yeah, I'm still having issues with like my motor skills slightly. Like, not terrible. If I sketch it out first and have an eraser, that's fine. But I used to pride myself on when I would sit in public, like in crowded tourist areas, and I would illustrate pen and ink, and I would start in really weird places in the artwork. Like maybe I would start like in the center of the crow, but you couldn't tell what it was. And then I do some waves here, or like this is like an asteroid shower over a barred owl. I don't know, whatever. I like surreal weird art. Used to be into graffiti. Yeah, and this is you know, that's my old company, Soma Inc. I know that's hard to read if you don't do graffiti stuff, but love cats, big cats. I have an ocelot, I should say. My parents are taking care of it. So here's an original. You guys might dig this, but this is all done with mushrooms, and these are deadly mushrooms. Uh, I don't have a serval. He's a quarter ocelot, a quarter Asian leopard cat, and half Egyptian Mao, but kind of similar to a serval. But I love him, even though he's like 38 pounds now. I love his name's Bodhi. But yeah, so long story short, uh, you know, here I was watching in no, it's not an amanita. It's actually this one is a Gallerina marginatus, which people here confuse with a psychedelic mushroom called the cyanensis, psilocybe cyanensis. And every year, a few people puke their guts out. Maybe one or two die every 2 years. High school kids picking the wrong thing usually, or people from Eastern Europe who have similar mushrooms, but they're totally different here. Um, this was when I was actually in the Pacific Islands and watching, even though they have cell phones and everything, they were kind of doing a ceremonial fishing thing just to teach the kids. And so I was sitting there watching and drawing, but they put torches with like these big cloth torches, oilcloth, and then they spear stuff, and they have these crews with boats, and they have these rattles, and they put them in the water and make a big ruckus, and they chase everything into these coves on their outriggers, and that was pretty cool. So that was semi-fish related. This is in Italy. This is a place called Cinque Terre, and it is just a really pretty little town. It's become a tourist trap, but yeah. So long story short is just that I like drawing. I like art. I'm happy to do. This is another wood cut into. So I cut it into wood, then I make an ink out of actual oyster mushrooms, and then do it. So what I am doing for a person, so like I don't know. I guess I can out her. Ginger Graves is having me do a couple of her fish, like portraits. So she's sending me pictures of her fish and just kind of letting me get the hang of what their personalities are and some of their stuff. And like some of their quirks and things like that. And then I will be doing say all the pens and bamboo because I'm doing it traditional Sumi style. And then my parents actually, I feel like I sound like I travel all the time. I don't. It's been a lifetime of saving up, being super broke, and then traveling. And when you have fish, it's hard to travel. So I traveled intensively when I didn't have any fish tanks for a while right before I met my wife. Um, yeah, hit that like button, guys. It'd be interesting to do a community tank. I know it would be take. Oh yeah. So yeah, that's kind of the deal. So I'm thinking that black and white style for shirts. It would be nice and inexpensive. Make it affordable for everyone. Um, you know, and then I thought I'd show you guys this, like, just because if anybody ever needs letterhead or lettering, I definitely used to, how should I put it? Decorate abandoned locations. Um, this is super old stuff, but always love fonts and that kind of stuff. Um, you know. So I could do something kind of kooky for the channel, you know, something that says secret history or whatever. Will t-shirts be tie-dye? Probably not. I'd like it if they were, but I hate it when they don't do a good job of it. Where was this? This is... Oh, this is Vancouver, Victoria, BC. So this is up in Canada, just north of me. Community murals. Yeah, actually, I like literally was a mural artist. This was one I did, like just a quick sketch. And I did this for a community garden where basically they're trying to put in a predominantly African American neighborhood in Seattle, they were trying to build a garden and kind of make it the kids feel like they're fighting the system, like they're resisting by planting and helping out. These are more up close images of those mushroom things I did. I don't know. I don't need to show you all this art stuff, but I was just trying to think what pertains to the channel, like if any of this, like I love the Pacific Northwest, if any of it adds up to something cool for the shirts and stuff. We could do something like super colorful and crazy, you know, Some of these are still pretty readable. Alex, Nick, Soma, but yeah, like this. Uh, just that's just my normal handwriting if I sit down. Um, this is logo stuff, first sketch kind of deal. And as you can see, when I get bored, I just start doodling like a madman. So yeah, there's actually quite a few people on online on YouTube that already have logos from me, but I'm on the down low about it. This, if the world was ending in the Puget Sound, uh, sketches, more old school graffiti. This is a Turkish thing I was thinking about doing for t-shirts instead of tie-dye. You float oil paints on different surfaces, and then you stir them with hair or feathers, and it comes out making some kind of cool patterns. Like, you've probably seen old books bound from the turn of the century with this style. You can get, if you dial it in, you can get a lot more subtle with it, like this. Um, so, yeah. I mean, I think that you could do a background with this and then, a shrimp. It's getting complex. But for some people, they may dig that far out of a shirt. Others may just want something a little more not so insane. Not so psychedelic, right? Okay, so this is what I was looking for, finally. So, when I was in Hawaii, I was looking at their traditional fish, but then I went and I talked to some traditional, at the cultural center, I talked to a couple members of the regional uh, Polynesian Culture Center, and they gave me a list of patterns and like what they meant. So like the shark tooths and pattern, the triangles versus triangle within a triangle versus stripes or waves or dots. And so I filled in different colors of the huma huma nuka nuka upoai. I don't know if I'm saying that right. But it's a triggerfish, but I filled it in with their traditional patterning that I was seeing around me. I asked permission because I'm just some white kid. Well, not kid, but whatever. I'll be a kid forever. We'll say kid. Um, oh, I do, Craig. I do art professionally. That is what I do. Is I do art. I mean, I do graphic design, and I do art professionally. I have for. Let's see, is there anything in here? All right, this doesn't need to be any more art than that. But the point being, and then here's more, logo, graphic, that kind of stuff. Because I'm always getting hired on these side gigs like that. And just kind of working on whatever comes across. So, long story short, though, it does not pay the bills. Oh, yeah, here's a good example. Like, this was some goofy thing I did for a local coffee place that has Australian coffee. Like, that was the concept art. Yeah. The other thing I do, which some of y'all might like, this is history related. This is Seattle in the 1860s, late 1860s, early 1870s. Unknown map illustrator. But this red area, I recolorized this. So this was all faded out to this color. So I went back in, I got it all digitally scanned, and then what I did is I went in and I recolored it is similar as to the way they colorized other things back then, which was they actually had a dictograph machine that would they could draw one and it would or a rapidiograph. So they would draw a map and it would draw two or three at the same time with the same pen. And so they'd do that and then they'd hand it over to the people who did the washing with watercolor. So this was one, and it's got like every little detail of Seattle at the time. Someone really did a nice job on it. So I restored that for Historical Society in Seattle just as an ongoing project for myself. Just trying to see if I've got more fish illustrations in here. Mountain goats, butting heads, more of Rome, dragonfly, cattails. Oh, a rhino in the Okavanga Delta. Those are all extinct now in there. A bunch of private information, like W2s and stuff. My WW2s. Okay. All right. Enough of that. All right. So I titled this, and I like these pens. These pens, and then I'll get a traditional pen, but I'll sketch out what I'm working on with these pens. They're like, I don't know, 10 or 15 bucks a piece. They're too expensive, but such is life. Whatever. How's everybody doing? You know, how's everybody doing? We doing okay? I know that yeah, I know that it's been a week. Um, here's some fish. I feel like I just need to show fish, right? So my I got from Han Aquatic. I went and I got some. Oh, by the way, the crib babies, the cribensis babies, the ones that I couldn't catch because they're too freaking fast, and even when I set a bottle trap, they were too smart for it. They have totally outmaneuvered me, and now they are breeding on their own. So they're in full on spawning mode, and you might see one like this gal swim by, and they are colored up with beautiful purples and, you know, their thing. And then the male guppy population, there's a few females, but it's almost all male. Endler and guppy. I love this guy. He's got orange and black, and then he's got, even though he looks silver, he's completely turquoise blue when he gets hit by the right light. Yeah. So in any case, drop me a comment after the fact of what you'd like for, you know, what you'd like for merch, so to speak, or if anything speaks to you that I showed you guys. This is just a really like laid back, like, I am hot. Here's that same fish. Can you guys? I wish he would move so we could see it live, but it's really like a metallic shimmer. It's not there. There. See how blue he is? It's just really hard to see like on camera. You only see it live how blue this guy is. He's orange and black, and then he just is incredible blue all of a sudden. I really want to start a line with him, but I don't, you know, it's like I don't have room to start another line right now. I'm also torn because there's some blue. You'll see it again. Hopefully we will see the blue together. Let's see, can we get him to be blue? Gotta go. All right, take care. Take care. For those of you that gotta go, those of you who are over at Lucas Brett's channel, I don't, no worries, I get it. I quarantine my new fish generally if it's from someone I don't know, or I mean from a source that I don't know, like for sure that it's already been in quarantine, or like if I get it from like Dean, aka like there's the blue showing up, the master fish keeper, aka from like Aquarium Co-op. Like we live in the same town. I'm getting some Corridoras he caught in the wild, some CW 123s I want to say, but like I would trust that no problem. Like I'm not gonna put that in quarantine. But if I ever get anything from like a Petco, PetSmart, that thing is going in. I'm gonna dip it in bleach for half a second. No, don't do that. But no, it'll be quarantined. But yeah, so everything's doing well in the low tech tank. It's got a heavy bio load in it, and I thought that my frickin' uh, plecos would take over this cave that I just moved from another tank, but immediately cribs took it over, and the plecos just seem to like chilling where they chill. Yeah. So, oh, did I have a fish swimming belly up? It's possible. There's a lot of fish in here. Usually, if there's a sick fish, I'll kind of take a look around, make sure everybody's doing okay and everything. But fish are quirky. Sometimes certain species, I've got a lot of oddball species that'll swim upside down or do weird stuff. Such, such is the life of these fish. Um, Yeah, the lacy plant. This is a Ponegeton madagascarensis, uh, also called Madagascar lace plant. It is awesome. It will get huge. This literally has no ferts, and it's then off, like it's a daughter plant of the main plant I had. The main plant got so big, it was back over here somewhere, but it got so big that it grew up out of the tank, and I could take a leaf and hang it completely out of the tank, and it was a bulb that started at the bottom of the tank. And this is a 2.5. This is an extra tall, like custom tank. Like somebody had this built slightly differently. It's like a 40.5 gallon, I think. So it's slightly different than the 37.5 bow front that most people have. But I got it free. The other thing is, all my lilies that I started, they're starting to do well. This is a purple and gold lily that I picked up from Aquatic Arts. Obviously, link and discount stuff is all in the description. My skeleton Bucephalandra is doing well. My man, it doesn't show. Like on live stream, I hate it. You guys can't see that this is blue and purple. You can kind of see it from up here, but there's like a blue and purple shine. So my garden of Boos, I think there's about 15 species here. Um, my thoughts on collecting wild. Yeah, we got time to answer questions today, guys. There's no crazy agenda that I'm pushing, other than just showing you guys some art and getting your feedback in the comments on what y'all think. Um, but I would say that um, collecting wild plants and putting them in your tank can definitely be a risk. You can definitely be introducing some serious invasive species by doing that, especially like little parasites and worms and nematodes. I would definitely, if you're gonna do that, I would bleach or hydrogen peroxide. Like, look up how to sterilize plants and do that. Do that a lot to them. Also, here we've got another lily that I got from them. We got a Taiwanese Nymphaea lily. We've got the smallest Nymphaea lily in the family, or lotus, I should say. Look at these little pads. They're so cute. And they grew 2.5 feet in a couple days. So, yeah, I was excited that those are finally growing. We've got Katharina, Belindea, Belinde, and then more ribbed booths where you can see all the variegation on it. We've also got Anubias. It's not Petite Nana, but it's Anubias Nana. That's white, so that's why you can't see it very well. These leaves are white. It's not the whole plant, it's just parts of the plant grow white. So that's kind of fun. This tank, it's got, I mean, the spotlights, those are Canson and Cree LEDs that are 30 watt each, but they're meant for floodlights outside. And they put a lot of light in. It reaches all the way to the bottom, which is nice. Will too much flow hurt the growth of your plants or keeping them from doing well? I heard that it can cause fluctuations in your CO2. Yeah, so Have I seen Godzilla Boost? Yeah, this is actually Godzilla Boost right here. Right here. This is red Godzilla. The color doesn't show up very well, like I said, but its stems are red, and it's just big, and then it's dotted like an iguana or something almost, like the leaves. It's been in there a long time, so it's that. And then we've got some of the smaller species back here. I honestly can't keep all the species straight, but some of them that look really different, I can keep them straight. And like the Logonandrum eboldi silver, like it's so reflective. It's like a speed bump or a line in the road that's got that reflective paint. This is the Logonandrum eboldi pink from Europe here that's huge, and you guys can't see it, but it's a beautiful pink shimmer, orangish red shimmer off of this plant for me when I look at it live. And here there's silver stripes and green. So, but I would say that too much flow, yeah, you can screw up your CO2 in that you're aerating the water. Now, if you're aerating the water heavily, like with a lot of flow, you can see this tank doesn't have. I know it's gross, whatever. Sorry. Do it as I say, not as I do. You can see this has a decent amount of flow coming out. I mean, this is a 120 gallon, the biggest hang off the back I could find, and then I kind of modified it myself and put in different liners and then substrates and stuff. Um, it's almost like a sump. Like there's a planted layer in here, and then there's biomaterial, and then there's like a shallow sand bed. I can go over that in another whole video actually. Um, but yeah, I would recommend not doing crazy flow unless you're doing a hill stream species. But the thing is, there's CO2, especially indoors, from your breath. And so even just doing this, you're going to get CO2 into the water. And it may not be at the rate that the plants get when you're pressurizing CO2, like over in this tank here. But it's at a good enough rate that it will take care of a lot of plants that you would think are CO2 plants, quote unquote. This didn't have CO2 for a really long time. And the CO2 I am putting in is not much. See how much is in there? And that's only 4 hours a day. If you can see, very little, very, very little. This little 2.5 pound container will last me 6 to 8 months at that rate easily. But yeah, so this tank, again, I was talking about here. We've got the Meboldi Red, which maybe you guys can see on this one. Yeah, so it looks a little pink or red or brown probably to you guys. To me, it's like as red as this is showing up on my viewfinder. And then we've got Nymphea micranthum purple, but it's not the metallic magenta purple that I love. But it is a really beautiful plant. So these are two different types that I got from Aquatic Arts. I really love lilies, especially in the summer. I'll allow the natural light to kind of do it. And then I've got red root floaters hanging out in here. Now, I have had a problem with the red root floaters in that um, they're, one, collecting algae on the layer of water that's kind of on top here, like in between. And they're also collecting planaria. The planaria can hide in there, and the little fishies can't or don't seem to hunt them in there. Some of the little baby endlers will, but no one else seems to. You can see the shrimp. These are the Malawa shrimp mostly, and then there's also blue Neocaridina from Lucas Brett's. They're hanging out in here. Everybody's doing super well. I need to sell, and I have a few people lined up. Sell some of these guys. It's interesting. They've turned lavender and red and purple in color. Some of them from hanging out on this plant so much, which is cool. The blue Neocaridina, they're doing well. This tank, I've kind of started to put more Oh, she's actively getting rid of her last few eggs. She's been pregnant for a while and she's got a few eggs left in her belly and she's letting them go. I wonder if there's babies anywhere that we can see. They're so teeny at that size though. But yeah, you can see this tank is just friggin' crawling with 3 different species. So I got a Caridina, a Neocaridina, and then a Babalti Caridina. Or no, an Adiapsis. That's what it is. I'm sorry, guys. An Adiapsis shrimp. Hanging out in here. If I can find him, I will expose him for the shrimp that he is. Uh, there's there's a good number of them in here, but this has gotten really dense. I've stopped manicuring some of these tanks quite so heavily, and I'm just kind of seeing what happens when I let some of these uh, go a little wild. It's been like a nice little break for me um, since I've been dealing with like medical stuff. Here I've got my CPDs. There's a nice pregnant female. She'll be ready to spawn any day if I wanted to pull her out of the tank. She would be happy to spawn. And then these are my koi, black koi or silver koi guppies. They're designed, as I've said in other videos, to be viewed from the top. So they've been bred with extra wide bodies and white spots, and some of them have white spots, some of them don't. Um, yeah, so yeah, plant trimming. I definitely do trim. I definitely do. This tank, it's been a little while, but honestly, you have to trim with like Kabamba and you know you've got here Rotala. This Rotala might as well not be high tech whatsoever because it's been under the red root floater for so long. But yeah, I do cut it along with the Rotala wallachia. The wallachia is, if you've ever had it, it's a very well known difficult plant, but it seems to be doing well. It's got some of it is a little horsetailish, but a lot of it will fluff back up depending on the time of day and have this nice, if you can see that pink neon pink look on it. So that's kind of cool. And then all down in the strata, which I really do want to replace this soil. Uh, we, I want to replace. I want to redo the whole tank, but honestly, like look how happy I've got. Like 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's one of those blue shrimp that I was talking about. So this one, I don't know. They claim that there is no way for them to mix with a Neocaridina. But you cannot tell me, even in your washed out live stream, that that fit body. These ones down here are the normal, quote unquote, normal ones. And they've adapted to the brown. Whereas the ones that hang out on the lilies, if you look at the tail, for instance, of this one, not all of them have it, only some of the newer generations. They actually have like a pink or lavender or lilac coloration to them slightly. These ones aren't the best example that are out right now. There's that female CPD that I should grab out and put her in a tank to spawn. And then also I've got the Tin Winnie Danios. They're probably my favorite Danio. I know that they're just kind of simple, but their fins. There's a nice pregnant female there, or carrying eggs, I should say. I keep saying pregnant. But yeah, so that tank overgrown. That tank overgrown. Let's hop downstairs. I may lose y'all just because of reception and stuff, but you guys can go check out Lucas and all that stuff. What's my most exotic fish? Well, I have some. I have one. I have one zebra pleco, and then I have 3 leopard frog plecos. Those are kind of exotic, I guess. Other than that, I would say that my panda loaches are my most exotic and beloved. I love them so much. They're so cute and they're so awesome. Here we've got the Neocaridina chilling out with. This is a big old long nose algae eating shrimp. What else do we have in here? Right now, there's just a ton of baby shrimp, just hiding all over the place. They just reached that age where they stopped hiding all day long, and now they're kind of coming out in the afternoons and late night and grazing on surfaces, which is always great. We do have a little bit of a planaria issue in this tank. But I mean, we've got so many baby shrimps on the wall there, and then we've got pregnant shrimp, I mean, buried shrimps. This gal, she's great. Her colors are great. She'll need to shed soon, so those tips of her tail have turned white. But look at, she's got solid blue on all her legs, all her tail, her whiskers. That's one of Lucas's shrimp originally, and I've been working now 3 years with them to try to make them even more blue. So I've got a tank for these like that I call royal blue, kind of almost like it's got a little bit of red in it, a little bit of sorry guys, this zoom in, my hand was wet and it wasn't working well. They look a little like navy blue mixed with even like a dash of lavender, but yeah, they just look beautiful. And then I've got another type, which is the ones upstairs. Usually, I'll pull the ones down here that are lighter out. Like this one will probably get moved when he grows bigger. But this would be the lighter blue, like sky blue that has a translucency to it. Focus, focus, focus. Whatever. But yeah, my panda loaches, these are my favorite. These guys need really clean water and no additives in the water other than limestone. Nothing synthetic that I've found works. They'll die. And so I have just been adding real limestone pieces in the tanks. Also, they are grazers, so they want the slime on rocks. So I'm constantly adding rocks into their tank and allowing them to then clean them off, and then I'll move the rock to another tank and allow the process to repeat. Again, somebody asked like what rare fish I have or whatever. These guys, somebody just told me they were going for $75 a piece as babies, which is nuts. I've seen them for $35, $40 a piece. Um, these panda loaches don't like other loaches. They're kind of shy, but they don't seem to be eating any of the baby shrimp. I've watched them for hours. You'll see here, so the rundown on them, I've got lots of videos on them, but I love them. The males have this kind of complex pattern on their forehead that's kind of like a snake skin pattern or maze pattern. And then the females have a simpler, like that's a female up there with just the black nose and the white dot on her nose, and then the bar across her eyes. Another female there with a simpler pattern, whereas the males have that complex pattern. And they also have these big flippers up front that they can climb like waterfalls with. So these guys would normally be in fast water, but I'm trying to get them to spawn, so I'm trying to emulate everything from like pebbles and a very particular size of I might try sand if this doesn't work in the next few months. But so far, I've seen them behaving in spawning type ways. I just haven't actually seen them have babies in this tank. Last year I tried it. They need to stay cool. They need to stay at 70, like 2, pretty much. What? Pet supermarket, $18 each. Huh, panda loaches. Crazy, Ryan. Um, Aquatic Arts sold them for $8.50 each for these adults, which I wanted adults anyways because I think like people keeping them should try to be breeding them because no one's really gotten good at it, and they're just very social. So I got a dozen of them for like $8.50 each from aquaticarts.com. I used my own discount, and so it was like I don't know, $110 or $120 for them. What else is going on in here? We've got the we've got some Danios that are going to a friend soon. These are just longfin leopard Danios, zebra fish if or sorry, zebra Danios. Zebra fish if you would like to call them that, zebra fish. And then the Lucas Brett's strain that I've been working with of endlers. I've allowed them to get. They used to all have spade tails in my tank, and now I'm letting their tails get bigger, and I'm gonna try some like delta tails. So I'm just gonna see what trait wins out. Up here, another round of endlers that I'm working on still. Also got some Honduran red points. They're getting really big. They're definitely eating all the shrimp. We got some Axelrodi green and blue rasboras. We've got some mountain minnows, and then a pair of Shanensis brachiodanio. Stop moving. Uh, there's a male and a female in here that I just wanted to separate from my other tank of them. But you can see there's mostly just endlers in this tank, and some shrimp. There's some random shrimp, and then also crypnuries all over in here. Little starts of them. Pink panther, pink flamingo, which are all just crypwindetti versions. Still shrimp, surprisingly, even though we've got these bigger Danios and we've got the Honduran red point cichlids, which are getting bigger and bigger each day. Also, up here, the Babaltis are doing super duper pooper scooper. We've got the Neocaridina gold line. This one's carrying some shrimp. You can see the shrimp babies have eyes already. You see little dots on them. So those will be giving birth this week. Right here we've got a Babalti zooming around in its green color. They have lots of different colors. But finally, I had Babalti Caridina neon green, and these are Babalti Caridina, but they're different. So in this tank, I don't care because the gold lines, I don't care if they mix with the super gold shrimp because the gene that wins out is the super gold. So it basically gives you a super gold shrimp with a gold line on top that's even more opaque. So like this, the least amount of yellow it would be, I should say, in here, actually is so yellow you can't even see if it's buried or not. It's that yellow, so it's kind of crazy. But then there's just down here on the mulm and on the broken glass. Yes, there's a bunch of broken glass. Everybody's giving me crap for it. They love it. It's just covered in surface area. So yeah. But down here we've got starts of little Anubias and all sorts of different little plants. And then we've got, you can see very tiny Babalti caridina chameleon, which don't have a real scientific name yet. They actually, these ones are crazy. They just move all over the place. And this one's turning orange as we speak. I don't know what they are. I got them online from a person, and they thought they were neon green Babaltis. They're not. Like they do have neon green Babalti coloration, but they can turn. I've seen them turn blue to like super orange. So it's really kind of a bizarre shrimp. It's probably from the research I've done, a Caridina Babalti out of Iraq or the marshes of Iraq or Kuwait, as well as Egypt. But it could be an Indian strain of the other Babaltis that maybe people have been working with in Asia. I don't know. But it gets along great, except for its babies are so. I mean, this is an adult. It's so much smaller than the Neocaridina females. Same size as a male Neocaridina. But they're just kind of in this tank. There are no fish in this tank. Fish wipe out the babies so quickly that it's like they don't stand a chance. I'm just trying to find you guys some. There we go. So like these guys are just all over this tank when you start looking. it, if the glare would cooperate. But yeah, there's little baby shrimp just scattered all throughout here, just doing their thing. They like the mulm. When I've taken the mulm out, the babies die. So there's something like, I think they like the poop from the adults, like the castings. I think it's something like really key to them. Like here's another little baby eating it, digging through it. There's an adult coming by. Um, so yeah, uh, those. So that's kind of the 411 on what's going on in these tanks. I've been pulling planaria out of there a bit just to try to give those little larval fish or shrimp a chance. Here, I just love my Shanensis. Stop moving. Of course, it's a Daniel. It's never gonna stay. So, random question. Know any good root tabs? Finally got a bag of carob seed. Yeah. The root tabs I actually like are these ones. The Seachem Flourish. They're like weird shaped. They're like angular. They look like a friggin' Lamborghini or something. Like when you open them. I can open them. Hold on. It's gonna get shaky, folks. Close your eyes if you're prone to sickness. That's you, Betsy. Um, so yeah, I like these as far as root tabs go. They're pressed really hard, and yeah, like I said, they're like each one's kind of angularly like a musket mini ball, and then random angles. Uh, but yeah, you can see they have different shapes. Those, make sure I wouldn't use them in a tank like this because something like my little maybe I mean, it could be a cichlid, it could be a catfish or a snail, but they'll dig them up. And so make sure you get like either heavy enough gravel that you can get them in there and bury them semi well, or just have enough substrate that you can really bury it under there. That's really the key. Also, some of these male endlers are so teeny. I mean, this is an adult, and it's not even as long as my pinky is. It's really, or as wide as my pinky is. I lost one of my female green dragons, by the way. I don't know why. She was at least 7 years old when I got her, so I don't know. It could have just been she was getting old. Yeah, 3 inch deep substrate's plenty. These guys are the Mexican crayfish, the dwarf crayfish. I've gotten demonetized when I say dwarf, so I'll probably get demonetized now. Whatever. Screw it. But yeah, and then the last tank, obviously, that I'm always torn on what I want to do with it. Like right now, it's hooked up for CO2. I'm not running CO2 on it, haven't been. But I think I might take the CO2 and run it on that whole rack of tanks rather than this tank. And this is just, I wanted to kind of see, like, I wanted to take pictures of both that pink tank upstairs and the tank here and show everybody how crazy it looks when it's CO2 and ferts every day and all that stuff and trimming it, trimming it, trimming it. And then I kind of wanted to see how much immersed growth I could get out of these tanks with like the Bacopa here and the Kabamba and all that stuff. Here's more. These are Pantheri danios, very similar to the Metangensis danio subspecies, except more dots and stronger bars. And then Hatchet danio swimming by, a female guppy back in there. I think we got a CPD maybe. No, an erythromicron. Um, but yeah, and then down in here we still have, since it's so dense, all my scarlet batis are in here now, and I never see them anymore. I mean, at night I'll see one or two, but I haven't seen a red color batis in forever. So I don't know if they're all female or what the deal is, but they're in here somewhere. And whenever I tear this tank down, there's just so many little critters in here that I'm gonna have to deal with finding. So many species of plants. I mean, right here we've got the Rotala pearl, and I didn't even think it would stay alive in low tech conditions, but it's actually been okay. It's lost its color, but it's still delicate. We still have baby Corridoras being born of the panda type. This here is the mini butterfly rotala when it is in the shade too long. Uh, this is um, the Thai lily, delicate dwarf lily, I think it's called. Sterogen bellum. Yeah, this is super red Ludwigia when it doesn't get enough light. So I don't know. I've wanted to cut back from the algae forming. There's Alternanthera renickii in there. There's all sorts of crypts in here too. So in here, when I get a 90p, which is still on my bucket list of things to do and hopefully get soon. Lots of clumps are ready right here of like moss also. This is probably full of fish eggs actually. Could you ever get this growth without CO2? Oh, yeah, there's no CO2 in this tank. I haven't run CO2 in this tank in months. Yeah, this is all just Fluval 2.0. This Nicrew light is almost useless as far as plants go. But I haven't run any of this CO2 in months now. So that kind of growth is no problem. I mean, that's just a nice substrate and some root tabs. Not even using fertilizer, but I do have a decent load of fish. I've got a decent load of Danios in there and Pseudomagills. We've got a koi in there, or I mean a betta, sorry, a koi betta. We've got a ton of these little cories. We've got 3 species of cories, and all of them have spawned in here. What are good lights for 20 long? Um, Honestly, if you can afford it, I love the twin stars. Those are just great. This light here is actually really decent. It gets freaking hot, but it's the Archeon, I think. Or wait, hold on. Let me see what it. Aquatic Studio. And this light has enough power to actually grow like Crypnuri with some coloration, get the nice purples out of plants, nice reds and pinks out of plants. None of these are high tech. Obviously, they're all overcrowded with fish, and I do water changes on them. But all of the growth in these tanks is totally just reliant on the amount of nitrogen and nutrients that these fish are putting back into the system when I feed them. So, yeah, and this is just gravel. There's no fertilizer. There's a little bit of crushed coral in here for the hardness for the endlers. But honestly, yeah, nothing high tech about it. There's not even anything in here. None of these plants are anchored. You know, you got pearlweed, hornwort, a few kinds of moss, and this is Ludwigia repens, super red. Kabamba, saffron kabamba in low light or mid light. Kabamba furcata is doing actually at the top. It is beautiful. It's like orange and bushy. This sometimes gets called coon's tail, but that's also the name for like parrot feather plant. It's also, this light is growing algae. So, but it's the exact same kind that Marmo moss balls grow with, and there were moss balls in here, so I suspect that maybe that inoculated this tank with the moss ball stuff. As far as yeah, the Fluval 3.0 planted plus, that's what's on here. That's what's growing all of this. I do get a little bit of light in here, but I mean, there's cherry trees right outside, and then another row of trees out across the street, so I get filtered light for the late part of the day. Yeah, also, if you didn't see this last time, Check out my planaria colony. This is like 100 planaria hanging out together with no food other than each other. And they're gross little webs, slug trails, and mulm. I guess there's a snail that was in there. But yeah, Tommy Two Tone, what is up? I'm getting a 36-inch for just $70. Oh, nice. That's a killer deal on a Fluval Planet Plus. Also, for those of you curious, this is what I feed my crab and shrimp. They really love it. This combined with this, like half a wafer of one of these in each tank each night, and then like 5 pellets of these in my 20 longs. Man, they love it. And so do a lot of the other fish will come and bug them, but in the just fish tanks, like, or just shrimp tanks like these, they'll all come together and I can count my shrimp. And I think right now there's about 40 adults in here and about 100 babies in this 20 long. Whereas down here I've got about 100 blue, if you count the babies and adults, with about 25 or 30 strong adults. And then in here, believe it or not, with the crayfish, with everything going on in here, there are still some shrimp. There are still some, and I want to get some woodcats again, but I need to like get the population down in some of my tanks. I would like to. I'm thinking about getting rid of Endler lines, like keeping a few just to keep them going, but not breeding them to sell anymore to little stores and to kids or people in the area. I'm thinking I might stop that and switch over so that in these tanks I could put something with more mass again. I've also kind of transitioned away from the plecos the way I was keeping them. Um, I don't know. I like nanofish a ton, and it's great. Like a 20 long is like a paradise for them. But yeah, so in any case, I see a sick fish as we speak that I'm going to try to catch. Maybe. A lot of times these fish, when it's this crowded, the female will give birth and then just never recover. Like, she's still cruising around, but her color is real bad. And she just looks sickly. Ugh. This might be an off-camera task if I can't get her in a second here. But, yeah. So, as far as dirted tanks, I saw that question. Dirted tanks are great. The thing with a dirted tank, I can't have them because of my personality. I want to fiddle with my tanks all the time and put in new fish, take out old fish, breed fish, put in plants, take out old plants, move the scapes around, always fiddling. I'm like devil went down to Georgia and fiddler. In any case, wow, this guy's going ballistic. What is his deal? What is your deal, little dude? Trileniatus. Do you have a fish? No, I don't have a garage. I have a carport, which I do have a couple tanks in with some Neocaridina shrimp and some Ordanios outside. These little mini crayfish will frickin' try to eat everything. I've seen it try to eat a 6-inch long pleco, and the pleco just smacks it in the face with its tail and is like, "What are you thinking?" You dumb little creature. But yeah, I don't have a garage. This is my spare guest bedroom, I would call it, I guess. We had not ever had a guest bedroom. We've always had roommates until recently, but yeah, my wife had her 40th birthday and said, "I'm sick of roommates, no more roommates." So this folds into a full bed here. It's like a futon thing. And yeah, so it's kind of a mess again, but we've got that, and then out and around the corner, I'm gonna lose you guys probably, but that's okay. It's been a good talk. Um, let's see here. Some of my tanks I am just getting to the let it be stage, and that's why you're seeing them all overgrown. We've got this little patio, but other than this, I've got fish tanks and tubs out here. So I've got Danios and Neocardinas out here, and then this is our